My goodness, what a day it has been today in the corridors of justice. The three-judge bench led by Justice Eric Ogola and of course alongside Eric Murima and Frida Mugambe unanimously of course declared to at least not to stay the conservatory orders that blocked the swearing in of the new deputy president nominee, Professor Kithure Kindiki, and that ruling actually marking the stage and of course what will be the beginning of an end should the same projection and the momentum that we witnessed today in the law in the court of law of course proceed in regard to that. And of course remember there is at this particular stage that the impeached deputy president Rigathi Gachagua was really fighting to save his political career. Nonetheless, tomorrow, November 1st, Kenya will be swearing in the third deputy president under the new dispensation of the 2010 Katiba. Professor Abraham Kithure Kindiki will be taking the oath of office as the third deputy president of the Republic of Kenya, marking what could be the beginning of the end of a man whose rise to the pinnacle of the Kenya's top seat, that is impeached Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua, from first-time Member of Parliament to Deputy President, the fast and furious rising, and of course to what might prove to be the same falling from grace to grass. And that is what we have highlighted for you today, and many stories in regard to that. But first thing first, our top stories tonight. Tonight, the DP in waiting. Blow to Gachagua as High Court vacates stay conservatory orders, paving way for Kindiki swearing in. Ruto jets out. President William Ruto in Burundi for the 23rd COMESA Heads of State Summit. Also tonight, tracing Willis Ayeko killers. Police shoot dead one suspect linked to the murder of Willis Ayeko in Kisumu. Plus, blow to medical interns. High Court rules that SRC holds the authority to set remuneration rates for public service interns.
This is KUTV Primetime News with Auma Evans.
Good evening and many thanks for joining us. This is the 31st day of October, the year 2024. Of course, it's a day that we have much and more lined up for you. And of course, to help us to bring you up to date with the latest is our very own Samuel Kelo as our sign language interpreter tonight. Remember, you can talk to us on all of our social media platforms. We are coming to you live on YouTube at KUTV News Live. You can tweet us on X at KUTV_Kenya at Auma Events. Remember to always use the hashtag Primetime News. So tonight we begin Primetime News with the latest. Professor Kithure Kindiki is set to be sworn in as Kenya's new deputy president on Friday, November 1st. This is according to a Gazette notice released moments after court's decision to suspend initial stay orders to stop Kindiki from taking oath of office pending hearing and determination of Gachagua's case. The ceremony will take place at 10 a.m. at Kenyatta International Convention Center, or if you prefer the acronym KICC, in Nairobi, as confirmed in the notice by Secretary to the Cabinet Mercy Wanjau. Head of Public Service Felix Kosgei has also published a Gazette notice listing members of the Assumption to Office of the Deputy President Committee which is tasked with overseeing the transition. The committee, chaired by the Secretary to the Cabinet Wanjau, include members from the Assumption of the Office of the President Committee, ensuring that the preparation for Professor Kithure Kindiki's assumption of office is well coordinated. And now to our top stories. The High Court has yet again dealt a major blow, impeached Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua's hope of salvaging his political career. This is after a 3-judge bench led by Justice Eric Ogola vacated conservatory orders blocking the Deputy President nominee Professor Abraham Kithure Kindiki from taking oath of office. Dennis Munyi opens, or rather, bring us more with this particular reporting in regard to the proceedings of the court.
Professor Kithure Kindiki will soon be sworn in as the next deputy president after the court today vacated stay orders issued by the Kirogoya court that barred the swearing in of another deputy president pending the hearing and determination of a case filed by Rigathi Gachagua opposing his impeachment. In its ruling, the 3-judge bench found that no court should issue orders that have effect of suspending the operation of any provision of the Constitution. The bench thus found that it was of essence that the Deputy President office continues with its operations.
That the Deputy President nominee has not been vetted by the IEBC, which is in any case improperly constituted. In response, the applications have been posed on the grounds that the court is now functus official, having already rendered itself on the application for conservatory orders, that the matter paper injunction is not a proper remedy in the circumstances, that the Court of Appeal is now seized of a similar application.
The hearing has been set to be heard on November 7th. Initially, Gachagua had petitioned the Court of Appeal to have the issuance of this decision, but the appellate court declined to issue such an order. Justin Anthony Mrima stated that whoever is sworn in will continue serving as the deputy president until any further decision from the court.
Pending petitions on the 7th of November at 2:30 p.m. in open court. We will address that pending application during that meeting.
Gachagua's lawyers, however, expressed dissatisfaction with the court's ruling, arguing that it contradicts the law as the Electoral and Boundaries Commission currently lacks the authority to vet Kindiki as the next deputy president. Despite this, the bench refused to issue another ruling advising Gachagua to proceed to the Supreme Court if he remains dissatisfied.
Done under Rule 24, this Honorable Court does issue conservatory orders suspending the swearing in of Professor Kithure Kindiki.
Furthermore, Article 259 of the Constitution mandates that the document must be interpreted as always speaking. This means the Constitution is a living document designed to address contemporary challenges and to be applied consistently and continuously.
The Deputy President's final recourse now lies with the Supreme Court, hoping that the forthcoming decision might offer some reprieve. Dennis Munyi, KUTV.
All right, let me take you to Burundi. President William Ruto has highlighted the importance of expanding the variety of trade products within COMESA and across Africa, emphasizing that nations need to enhance their capacity to improve productivity, especially in agriculture. Ruto, who is in Burundi for the 23rd of State of COMESA Summit, campaigned for Raila Odinga's African Union Commission chairperson bid, terming him as a true statesman and Pan-Africanist, as Diana Nashpai now reports.
The 23rd Summit of COMESA gathered over 400 participants, including representatives from the private sector, small-scale traders, policymakers, and civil society. The meeting is focusing on enhancing regional integration by developing value chains in climate resilience, mining, and tourism. In his address at the 23rd Summit in Burundi, President William Ruto commended COMESA in the July launch of the Tripartite Free Trade Area, calling it a significant step towards realizing the African Continental Free Trade Area's full potential. He also highlighted the importance of lowering transaction costs for goods and services to boost inter-COMESA trade.
A very significant development happened on the 25th of July this year, because the TFTA came into force that brings together COMESA, EAC, and SADC.
President William Ruto also called for COMESA support for former Kenya Prime Minister Raila Odinga as he campaigns for the position of chairperson of African Union. Ruto emphasized that Raila Odinga is a capable leader who has performed admirably in his role.
Because my brother Rajalina here has challenged me, that I am requesting for your support for the former Prime Minister of Kenya, Raila Odinga, who was also a former AU infrastructure envoy, and he did a wonderful job.
President William Ruto highlighted that a key challenge in trade is the limited range of products, particularly in food production within COMESA and across the nation. He stressed the importance of enhancing agriculture productivity to transform primary products into higher value goods.
Your Excellencies, part of the challenge that we face in the intra-trade between our countries, both in COMESA and in our continent, is largely because of the limited trading products. It is therefore important for us to build capacity to enhance our productivity.
President William Ruto concluded by urging COMESA to enhance infrastructure development by adding transmission lines and most especially in rail and road networks across Africa. Diana Nashipai, KUTV.
All right, one of the suspects linked to the murder of Wells Fargo Human Resource Manager Willis Ayeko was shot dead by police in Kisumu. The suspect, whose identity is yet to be disclosed, was tracked to a guest house within the city where he reportedly drew a pistol and aimed at officers during an attempted arrest, prompting them to fire in self-defense. Nyanza Regional Police Commander Patrick Tito confirmed the incident, noting that the slain suspect is believed to be part of a carjacking ring involving Ayeko's murder. Ayeko's body was found on October 24th near a stream in the Nyaminia area of Gemyala in Siaya County. Following his disappearance on October 18th after attending a burial in North Game, investigations are ongoing as police work to bring those responsible to justice. And I'm afraid I have some bad news for you. Former Kimilili Member of Parliament Suleiman Murunga has died. Murunga passed away on Wednesday night while undergoing treatment at Nairobi Hospital. The former legislator, who served Kimilili from 2013 to 2017 under the Ford Kenya Party, was known for his commitment to local development and advocacy for his community. News of his passing has sparked a wave of tribute from leaders across the nation, including his successor, who praised Murunga's impact on Kimilili. And two directors of Silver Bells Academy in Eldoret, Margaret Atuoli Indasi and Donald Wakinya Lumwanji, were arraigned on Thursday at Eldoret Law Court for allegedly failing to register 23 grade 6 candidates for the Kenya Primary School Education Assessment Examinations, if you prefer the acronym KPSEA. The pair, accused of subjecting the candidate to a fraudulent exam, appeared before Chief Magistrate Dennis Mikoyan. However, the court did not allow them to enter a plea. Magistrate Mikoyan ordered their detention at Eldoret Central Police Station until Friday, when the court will decide on their potential release. Switching gears to the corridors of justice, it's a blow to healthcare interns after the High Court upheld Salaries and Remuneration Commission's decision to set stipend for the healthcare interns at 70,000 Kenya shillings on Thursday. And as Ochieng Cynthia explains in the following report, the court dismissed 5 petitions that sought to overturn the ruling, arguing that it created disparities between medical and non-medical interns and ignored the existing remuneration on structures, affirming that the commission acted within its mandate.
In a ruling contrary to the 5 petitions filed by healthcare interns and professional organizations, which claimed the SRC stipend decision was unconstitutional and created disparities between medical and non-medical interns, the High Court ruled on Thursday that SRC holds the authority to set remuneration rates for public service interns due to budgetary constraints and fiscal sustainability.
A few more minutes, and
In April, the Salaries and Remuneration Commission, SRC, set the stipend for medical interns at 70,000, down from 206,000 previously. SRC chairperson Lynn Mengich highlighted fairness, noting the highest paid government intern earns 25,000. In defense of the petition's request to recognize all interns as public officers under Article 260 of the Constitution of Kenya 2010, the SRC argued that setting stipend is part of its constitutional mandate, emphasizing that interns are meant for training, not actual employment. Citing the Ministry of Health's 9.6 billion funding request, the SRC argued that adjusting intern stipend is crucial for fiscal responsibility, asserting that differences in stipend levels among healthcare interns arise from economic realities, not discrimination. The decision has, however, given SRC a go-ahead to promote prudent remuneration practices across Kenyan's public service. Ochieng Cynthia, KUTV News.
That story by Ochieng Cynthia takes us to a first break here on KUTV Primetime News. Remember, plenty more to follow after the break.
You are watching KUTV Primetime News with Auma Evans.
23 minutes past 9 o'clock. Time to continue updating you with the latest. Now let's move on. In Embu County, young professionals have come together to launch the Embu Young Professionals Network, an organization dedicated to empower local youths by building strong networks and creating avenues for professional growth. The network seeks to connect young, skilled, and ambitious individuals across sectors from business and politics to media, sports, education, and agriculture. During the launch, standout achievers under 40 were recognized for their excellence in fields such as politics, business, innovation, and community service, with nominees selected through online voting.
This year we had the Embu Top 40 under 40, and I'm so happy, so excited for the support from across the country. People who believed in me, and being the first runners-up in the art and music category and also the winner in the media category makes me super proud, and the realization that in the county we are looking at talent and just supporting what different people are doing in different places.
And I won the Embu Top 40 under 40 awards under the category Best Female Artist of the Year in music and the arts.
The thoughts behind Embu Professionals is having really a platform where we can share our ideas, one, two, where we can do, because we have that potential, rather than waste our potential in other things, we would wish to waste our potential in building the nation. Because even where we are, I'm sure you have a lot to learn from the entrepreneur of one of this facility. Also, as a government, we should go to our hands, because that's a good thing to do. That's for now. I won't talk much, because I think we can get just one cause, one purpose, just to support you. And it's so humbling to see the response.
Meanwhile, access to financial assistance remains a significant challenge for artisanal and small-scale miners across the country. This is according to Solidaridad and the Impact Facility, which have noted that the limited recognition of miners within the banking sector often prevents them from securing loans. To address this gap, Solidaridad and the Impact Facility are holding forums in Migori that bring together mining partners, including cooperatives and financial institutions. Let's get more from our very own Emma Mwangi.
Owing to the difficulty faced by some artisanal miners in obtaining financial aid, stakeholders in Migori have now come together to bridge the gap by organizing a forum that seeks to promote cooperation between partners and other parties involved. The forums, organized by Solidaridad International and the Impact Facility, also included financial institutions, with the move seeking to enhance the banking sector's understanding of viable strategies they can adopt in issuing their loans. According to Ritan Jerry, a mining project implementer at Solidaridad, their partnership with Impact Facility under the Project Assess initiative seeks to formalize grievances and address the needs of miners in key mining regions.
We work with the miners to ensure that their mining is beneficial to them, so they earn a steady income and a decent living. And then we also work with them to ensure that the mining is sustainable, meaning that the mining is in balance with nature and causes little to no harm.
According to Impact Facility mining expert Cyrus Njonde, no financial institution would risk to fund any miner without a license, which leads to low capital in operation, resulting to low productivity.
As miners, we are trying to actually find a way whereby we can actually now access the financial institutions. As you know, mining is very, very expensive. So we have been into that meeting since yesterday, but I'm happy we have come to a conclusion.
According to Lawrence Odwar, a small-scale miner from Rongo Sub-County, the mining equipment are quite expensive and most of the time out of reach by a majority of artisanal and small-scale miners due to financial constraints. He insists that many times they have attempted to secure funding from the banks without much success.
When a miner or a group of miners do not have the necessary licenses, and that aspect really affect their formalization journey and eventually make their productivity low because they still remain to have no capital to operate.
Through renewed support, miners are therefore looking forward towards financial access and sustainable growth for high productivity. Emma Mwangi, KUTV.
And now beyond borders, U.S. farmers are facing economic headwinds as they head to polls this election in this year. VOA's Ken Faraba reports from Illinois.
The sun rises daily over a season of uncertainty on John Ackerman's Morton, Illinois farm.
In Illinois, we have over 25,000 acres of pumpkins most years.
Illinois is the top pumpkin producing state in the U.S., and the crop generates about half of Ackerman's income. He's grown plenty of pumpkins and gourds this year, even amid a drought. But his greatest uncertainty isn't the weather. He's worried about the lapse in funding from major legislation called the Farm Bill.
It provides me the chance to purchase insurance.
Small farmers like Ackerman rely on Farm Bill subsidies to help pay for crop insurance, which helps them secure funding from lenders to keep operating.
If I can't show to them that I can purchase insurance that'll cover me in a disaster, that affects their ability to lend to me.
Crop insurance makes up roughly 10% of the 10-year, more than $1 trillion Farm Bill. Farm Bill funding ended September 30th amid debate among lawmakers over its renewal. Congress is now in recess through the presidential election, the other great source of uncertainty for Ackerman.
Farm income's really going to drop this year.
Ackerman attributes that to high prices for inputs like fertilizer and low prices for his corn and soybean crops. He says prices are low partly because China put tariffs on U.S. soybeans in retaliation for the Trump administration's tariffs on Chinese steel, both of which have continued through Joe Biden's presidency.
China's purchases have dropped off, so tariffs will affect the farmers first.
Debate during the U.S. presidential campaign about more tariffs rattles Ackerman and Streeter, Illinois farmer David Iserman.
It scares me.
As Iserman processes grain products harvested from his fields, he's debating whether to sell the crops now or store them and hope for better prices. But he worries about the long-term damage of tariffs.
We lost that soybean market to China, to South America.
We need new markets. We need markets to ship these crops to.
Ryan Whitehouse is director of national legislation for the Illinois Farm Bureau, which advocates for farmers to lawmakers.
Making sure that tariffs are not imposed is a top priority for this organization.
Iserman says the trade war with China affected more than just crop prices.
It raised prices probably on a lot of equipment because prices went up on steel and aluminum, and there's a lot of steel, aluminum, and farm equipment.
The Trump administration gave farmers additional subsidies to offset the effects of tariffs, but they didn't cover all of Iserman's losses.
I don't know that it made us whole.
But it's always good to have a good year.
Ackerman hopes whoever wins the White House this year, as well as seats in the U.S. House of Representatives and Senate, keeps farmers in mind.
Are we well represented? I don't think so, to be honest.
Both Iserman and Ackerman say passing the Farm Bill as soon as possible is critical, regardless of which party leads the government after Election Day.
All right, let's take yet another very short break. When we come back, up next, sports news. Time for the latest in the world of sports. Now, Harambee Starlets have concluded their campaign with a 4-1 victory against the Philippines at the American Stadium in Antalya, Turkey. It was Starlets' first win of the 4-team tournament following a previous losses to Russia, who thrashed them 4-0 on Saturday, as well as Chinese Taipei, who defeated them by a solitary goal. The Beldin Odemba-led charge urged the Football Kenya Federation and the Ministry of Sports to organize more tournaments of the same caliber to help the team to improve their performance ahead of the upcoming qualifiers. And defenders David Cheche Ochieng, Saraj Mohammed, and Kenyan Premier League top scorer Francis Kahiro of KCB, Ryan Ogam from Tusker, and Bandari's midfielder Fidel Origa have been called up to the national team Harambee Stars ahead of the return leg clash against South Sudan in Kampala, Uganda this weekend. The freshman joins Harambee Stars ranks as head coach Injin Firat aims to overturn a 2-0 deficit Kenya suffered in the first leg in Juba last weekend. The winner of the two-legged tie will face each other, or rather will face either Rwanda or Djibouti in the final qualification round in December. Alright, so that's all we had for you this particular evening. Many thanks for the men and women behind the scene and for all those who made this production a success. And of course for you, our esteemed viewers, for always keeping us a company in the last 35 minutes or so. My good name is Auma. Samuel Kelo has been our sign language interpreter tonight. Until next time, you have a lovely night. And don't forget to enjoy the moment, because life itself is very dramatic. You can rise and fall, but either way, that is the nature of life. Good night for now. See you next time.